Hello, we would like to introduce our tour, Time Traveling, and Other Side of Hong Kong. I am Yong Choi Yi, and I would like to first explain why our tour is named with this title. It can be divided into two parts. Time traveling actually matches the storyline that our main character, Alo, time traveled to the modern world from the 70s. It also indicates the keywords disappearance and displacement, meaning that Hong Kong experiences drastic changes in all these years. Our traditional culture may be disappearing or replaced it. For the another side of Hong Kong, we hope to raise the comparison between traditional Hong Kong and modern Hong Kong, evoking the reflection that what's the balance between conservation and development, and attract attention that what's the another side. There are two research methods in this project, including sightseeing and online research. For the first method, we would like to gain first-hand experience to better describe the feelings and help us to clearly understand the procedure and service provided. We can also observe the attitude of the workers, the atmosphere and characteristics of the environments. For the online research, we are looking for the basic information such as location and history of the destinations. We also browse others' comments about these. Our inspirations of tour mainly come from three aspects, including movie, conversation, and observation. Old movies such as The House of 72 Tenants, The Boat Girl, and 13 Unrelated really captures the life of people in the past, the fishing culture, the entertainment, which intrigue us to explore more. For the conversation, our relatives, especially our grandparents, are always willing to share their past lives, like we used to have or we used to live. We also observe in our daily life, for example, when we walk past the Causeway Bay Typhoon Shelter and we are curious about its history, there is also a Instagram account called Old Hong Kong in Color showing the pictures of Old Hong Kong. And therefore, we would like to explore more about the culture in the past.
For our cultural tour, we have planned a tight schedule for the participants to enjoy. First, we will meet at 9 o'clock for Wai Dan Bakery. Then the next stop is Wuchuan Pawn Shop at 10, followed by Xixu Center at noon. For the second half of the tour, participants will go to traditional Mahjong DIY workshop at 4 afternoons and head to Shanqi Typhoon Shelter at 8 in the night. We have some requirements for participants like wearing coats and accessories with 70 Hong Kong feature. For the fee of the tour is 500 Hong Kong dollars, including dinner and transportation between locales. Regarding the first locale, it is in Saiwan. It is found since 1984 by Naomi grandparents. The reason for Naomi, the owner, to stand still with the bakery is she hoped to spread traditional culture. Therefore, to attract teenagers, she creates her own logo. She makes cookies and cake with foul language on. Participants will meet at San Yin Pun MTR station and walk there together. We will spend about 30 minutes there talking to the owner about how she gets the craftsmanship from her parents and her opinions on the disappearance of traditional bakery by replacing by big chain bakery. Also, her difficulties to keep the shop. During the visiting, they can buy souvenirs like cake and cookies and take photo of it. Next, we will go to Wuchuan Pawn Shop in Wan Chai. The building now was rebuilt in 2007 by the government. Before the reconstruction, pawn shop lasts from 1888 to 1900s. However, the architecture resembles the original one. It consists of 4 bays of balcony. We can observe Chinese and Western features from the building. We will travel there by train such that they can enjoy city view and observe the building around it. We got 2 tasks for them. First, they are asked to find new and old features. They are given a picture of the pawn shop in the past, and they need to assign the corner in picture to corner now in the pawn shop. After this, they will share their opinion towards the pawn shop and discuss the reason of the disappearance. More, they will walk out of pawn shop to take photo and observe the Western and Chinese features architecture. Then we'll head to CCGL Center in Jimshachi to watch Chinese opera. Magic Tea Show is the show to watch. It mixes robots and high tech with traditional opera performance. It aims to attract teenagers and hope teenagers can be more aware on Chinese opera as a disappearing entertainment. The storyline of the show is interesting, which target teenagers and as well as our tour, having teenagers as target audience. There is a boy traveling back in time and get the chance to experience opera that his family did in the old days. We will travel there by bus and spend about 2 hours for the show. After watching the show, they should be able to discuss about their view on Chinese opera and what they have learned. Additionally, there are exhibitions of costumes and scripts for them to take pictures of. To get them involved more in the tour, next locale will be traditional Mahjong DIY workshop in Gunton. Mahjong is a famous entertainment for all range of age since 1960. However, no one understands the history behind it. Hanson King, as the host of the workshop, and as well as the owner of a handmade mahjong business shop since 1950s. Sadly, the shop is closed this year because of the difficulties to operate. If we fast the failing of handmade mahjong now, he hopes to pass on the craftsmanship and hinder the disappearance of handmade mahjong. We will travel there by bus. The workshop lasts for 2 hours, such that participants can make their own mahjong tile and understand the history of handmade mahjong by talking with the owner. By the end of the workshop, they are required to discuss about reasons of declines and think of suggestions to foster the industry. Lastly, Shenki Taihu Shelter is the last location in Causeway Bay. It developed in 1970s. Originally, it is a place for fishers to rest during the typhoon period, and then it becomes famous because of the dishes and the restaurant. The reducing number of ships indicates the decline of fishing industry. In the tour, we will go there by bus and have dinner there. On the ship, we can enjoy night view there while eating. At the same time, they can ask the owner about the differences of the present and the past of fishing industry. They also can experience sleeping on a boat for hours and appreciate the city view there.
The rationale behind is to increase involvement through first visual observation. For example, participants can explore the diversity of the traditional cookies or bread in the bakery. Second, through participating in mahjong workshop or enjoying a Cantonese opera, they can gain a more memorable experience. After revising all locals, they will enjoy the typhoon shelter cuisine under a pretty night scene. Each local will bring back Alo's memories through different senses. For example, bakery will be related to taste and smell. All participants are required to follow the dress code, which means that they need to wear the 70s accessories or clothes to participate more in the trip. After completion of each task, they are given hints of Alo's identity relating to the local. At the end, they are asked to guess Alo's job and background. If they are correct, they can get a present, which is a pack of Hong Kong stickers. One of our keywords is disappearance. The definition of disappearance is not seeing what is there. So the Hong Kong tradition is disappearing, especially the craftsmanship, because the traditional skills are not inherited by the young generation and therefore less recognized by the teenagers.
The next part is the objective of our tour and what we expect our participants to learn and achieve. The first one is to allow participants to discuss on the reasons of disappearance of Hong Kong cultures, especially under globalization. For example, we can find that traditional cultures are gradually replaced by foreign cultures or company under globalization. In the tour, we will go to Wai Eaton Cake Shop, which is one example of traditional bakeries, and they are replaced by chain bakeries such as A1, Yamasaki Bakeries, etc. And the second objective is to increase awareness on Hong Kong traditional cultures. To understand that we are responsible to take the initiative to preserve and pass the traditional Hong Kong cultures. And the third objective is to promote sense of identity. And allows our participants to notice the uniqueness of Hong Kong and be proud of being a Hong Konger. And apart from participants, as a tour planner, we can also learn a lot from this project. First, we can reflect on the relationship between globalization and local value to think about how to strike a balance between globalization and preserving local culture. Second, we can try to learn to cherish and appreciate the uniqueness of Hong Kong, as sometimes we are not aware or notice that our cultures are disappearing in our daily life, but regret after our cultures have faded out. Third, to understand the two-sided Hong Kong, the modern one vs the traditional one. We always regard Hong Kong as an international city or a modern city, which is quite superficial and not comprehensive enough, as we have neglected the traditional side of Hong Kong. In this project, actually we can see that Hong Kong may not work hard enough on preserving its unique cultures, instead of focusing too much on economic development. And the significance of this tour in introducing Hong Kong in the context of globalization. The first one is to understand how globalization influences Hong Kong, either in a positive or negative way. For the negative way, because our tour mainly focus on it, and for example, less people watch Chinese opera but watch Korean dramas or Western movies nowadays by using streaming platforms under the effect of globalization. But we cannot deny that globalization actually brings benefits to us. For example, many chain bakeries, they replace traditional bakeries, and their products are usually more on trend and innovative. This is how globalization brings positive effects to us. And the second one is to think about how to strike a balance between globalization and preserving local culture. And this is our storyline. Our story is talking about a boy called Alo from Hong Kong 70s. He accidentally traveled to modern city, Hong Kong in 2022. He found that he has lost all his memories and seek help from you. You means our participants, and our participants designed a tour for Alo which adopts Hong Kong as the theme, old Hong Kong as the theme, and brought him to travel around the modern city in order to get back his lost memory. And we will, in our tour there are 5 locales that covers different aspects in daily life of old Hong Kong people. For example, for food we have traditional bakeries and typhoon shelter. For entertaining we have Xi Qu, which is Chinese opera or Cantonese opera, and mahjong. And for daily life, we have a pawn shop for changing money. So how is this storyline related to the objective and aims of our tour? actually allows lost memory indicate the failing traditional culture in Hong Kong, and our participants help allow to get back his memory, which provide a golden opportunity to know and learn more about traditional cultures in Hong Kong. So that's our storyline connects with the aims and theme of the tour.
I am tempted, Joyce, to the interesting storyline. And this part is about the logic of design for website. Our website's name is a time traveling in other side of Hong Kong. So we focus on the past of Hong Kong. So all the locales we choose are related to the old Hong Kong lifestyle, like playing mahjong. And to make sure things clear, we have a fixed pattern to introduce each locales. So here are some designs for the website and surely can help the visitors understand. Here are some buttons to guide people when they are using the website, like read more, back to home page, and so on. And here is a map under each passage, so the visitors know where are the locales and they can find the ways to go. And we have different color for each sections for people to identify different information. And then we have some pictures to let people know more about the images of the locales. And for understanding, as what I mentioned about, we have a clear and fixed pattern to introduce. Like firstly, we have the storyline of the locales and then give some information. And then finally, the details of the tour, like what people can do in the tour. So let's look at the website together. We can see the homepage and this button. We can see directly the virtual tour by the video. And here are some photos and words to simply introduce the background of the locales. Some interesting words are used to attract people to know more. And to know more, you can click read more. So each one will introduce the storyline, background, and the tour information. Some of them will have some tips and guidelines, even have a map, more convenience for the visitors to find their location. And here is the storyline I have mentioned above and some message to show through the tour. And if you want to join the tour, you can fill in the application form in the home page. So for the self-evaluation, and it is hard for us to go to all the locales as some workshop cannot book or because of the limitation of time. And second, it's hard to make a tour go smoothly, like will the tour be too packed or what? And cutting videos and making website are challenges for us as we have no experience. And finally, we have limited knowledge of Hong Kong culture and history and hard to summarize the details in the tour. So for overcoming those problems, the more research can solve limitation of content and knowledge, like watching vlog on YouTube, or we can see the real situation in each locales and give some recommendation to the visitors, and more chance to try different apps for cutting videos. And it is good for us to develop some skills that are not related to academic issues. And we also have some interest in knowing more about Hong Kong culture because even a Hong Konger we slightly talks about the old Hong Kong and have no chance and interest in watch CCGL or playing mahjong. So this time let us know how fun are they. Like I went to the mahjong workshop and the master will share some experience in making mahjong, like how to use a curving knife, and finally we can take one mahjong back home. So surely it is an interesting experience for us. So here is the division of our work, and that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.